I've been on sales calls all week with B2B founders, and the same exact problem keeps coming up. They think that their offer is clear, but it is actually unscalable, untrainable, and even worse, unclosable by anybody else but the founder themselves. One lady on a call literally told me that she not only does leadership consulting, but she also offers IUL life insurance packages. Like, what? Now, why even listen to me on offers? My name is Dylan Starr, and I have helped other B2B founders like Jason Capital himself create an offer not only from scratch, but go from 0 to 1.4 million in sales in only 4 months. Even other agency owners create an offer and scale up to 100K plus months from complete cold traffic. So after my decade of experience being in B2B sales, I have found that the culprit every single time always comes down to the offer. And in this episode, I'm going to show you why most B2B offers actually fall apart when you try to scale, and how to actually audit your offer before you ever bring in reps, start running outbound, or build a funnel. And I'm also going to show you the exact simplified strategy that I use for my consulting clients before I ever agree to help them with sales. Because if they skip this, then nothing else works. Now, here are the 3 core reasons why your offer is actually sabotaging your growth. Number 1, it's very confusing to explain. Number 2, it's not built to be sold by anyone else but you. And number 3, it breaks your messaging, your follow-up, and your team structure. All right, now let's get into it. So point number 1, if you confuse, you lose. And I mean this in regards to your buyer and your sales reps. You cannot scale whatever you can't clearly explain. And that is key. It must be clear and concise. Now, imagine you go and you hire somebody and you try explaining your offer to another rep, and they look at you completely puzzled and confused. If they're confused, now just imagine how confused your audience is whenever you talk about it. Before you know it, your prospect is already gone. And after multiple calls, I always find that founders love just stacking a multitude of offers. They believe that by having all these offers, they can serve anyone and everyone. And the sad reality is all that does is just create chaos and confusion. They'll say things like, I coach consultants, but I also can help with hiring. And I also have this bonus sales course that I can give people. And by the way, don't forget, I can also do this IUL thing completely on the back end. Now, that is not an offer. That is a buffet of pure chaos. So let me give you an example. A friend of mine just called me this week, and he is partnered with another business as a profit partner. And he called me excited because he closed a $5,000 deal. And he's like, yeah, man, I closed this 5K deal and we're doing all these things. And I remember just sitting there confused because he started talking about how he sold a recruitment offer. But when we spoke 2 weeks ago, he told me that he was working with a marketing company. So naturally, my first thought goes, oh, wait, is this a new partner? I thought you were working with somebody else. And he's like, no, it's the same person. And I was like, well, I'm confused. I thought you said that you guys offer marketing services. And he's like, oh, yeah, we do. But the business owner said, here's a multitude of things that we could possibly do, even though they haven't really done it, and told him, no matter what the case is that they come through, whatever their challenge is, just put something together, package it, and sell it, and I'm sure that we can go and figure it out. So when he had a prospect come to him and realized that they didn't have a marketing problem, they had a rep problem, he goes, hey, sure, why don't we just go and help you and hire a rep and we can do placement? So he sold a placement offer. Now, I looked at him, confused, of course. Congratulations on the sale, but how exactly are you guys going to go and fulfill on a placement offer when this entire time you guys have been selling marketing? And he responds, oh yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I had a conversation with the business owner and he said, cool, great job, no worries, we can go and do it. Now, for everyone here that's watching or listening to this podcast, think about this. How confusing is it if you go to hire and you have to tell your team, we could do marketing, but oh yeah, we had this other person who came to us and we sold this package where we can go and do placement. So if they need reps, we can also place reps. And then you just keep stacking offer after offer after offer. You and I can both agree that's going to be very confusing. But even worse It is impossible to scale that on the back end because operationally, that is a nightmare. How do you even hire CSMs for your organization to come in and say, hey, if this person comes in and they need marketing, here's the onboarding process, and here's how you're going to start that process from A to Z. But don't forget, if they come in for a placement offer, here's the onboarding process for that, so we can get the information and we can start doing XYZ for getting a rep. And by the way, we haven't really figured that out yet, but we're in the process of it. So we do sell those naturally at times. You see, it's just pure confusion from the get-go, just from having a multitude of offers, and an absolute nightmare when you're trying to go and do fulfillment. So here's an actual litmus test you can use to know if your offer is easy to understand. Could someone else, an absolute stranger, explain your offer to someone else in only one sentence without being vague or confusing? If the answer is no, then you do not have a scalable offer. You have what I call founder's logic, which leads us to point number 2. Founder logic does not equal team logic. What I mean by that is founders can think on the fly and improvise their pitch, of course, because they're the owner. But your sales reps cannot, nor should they. This is why most sales reps in organizations actually fail. It's not because they can't sell, it's because they're trying to sell your crazy whirlwind swirl of these multitude of different things that you keep putting on their plate to explain to prospects. And the data from my experience doesn't lie. Here's what I found that happens the moment you hand a messy offer over to one of your sales reps. The first thing we see is that close rate goes down dramatically. I mean, absolutely tanks. Then all your messaging across your platforms, whether it's email or social media content, it just gets completely diluted and quality of people starts going down. And finally, the big one is your sales reps start churning because they realize that, hey, this isn't an offer. It's actually not ready. And I don't want to be involved into an organization with an offer that's not clear, concise, and specific. So how do you fix this? You actually need one single core offer that checks off these 5 boxes. I call this the Offer Stack Audit. So use these 5 things to audit your offer literally right now. Number 1, your niche. Does your niche right now have a very clear and defined who it is that you are serving? Now, when I say clear and defined, I didn't say this very broad things. And while you're saying this out loud, if you start catching yourself being like, well, this, or sometimes this instance, notice how that's not a clear, specific who. Just choose one avatar. The second thing is your outcome. Your outcome must be a quantifiable what. What is the outcome that you are promising through your offer? Notice I said quantifiable. A big mistake that I see from a lot of B2B coaches and consultings is they'll say things like, oh, well, I help people get clarity. Now, notice how clarity isn't measurable. There is no way that you can go across all your clients and quantifiably measure clarity. So that is not a good what. You need to figure out what your what is that is going to be specific and to where it can be measurable. It must be tangible. Tangible is the key to figuring out what your outcome is going to be. Next is going to be the vehicle. Think about the vehicle as the defined how you are going to get your prospects from point A to point B. Now, why is this so important? And how is it that a lot of people mess this up? Think about all the different methodologies for weight loss. We know that everyone wants to lose weight or they want to gain muscle. We also know that in order to do that, you must diet and exercise. But if you try to go and talk about just diet and exercise, are you going to get consistency of prospects? Probably not. So what did marketers do? They created these sexy terms like keto, ketogenic diet, and intermittent fasting. Keto and intermittent fasting is the how. It is the vehicle that the audience is sold on as the methodology to get people to lose weight. Therefore, if your audience believes in keto, then they will believe that your product can get them to where they want to be. So having a clear vehicle on your own methodology is the massive key to success. This also avoids you being in a pricing war with other people that could view you as a commodity. Because if I have my own methodology and I'm helping you get from point A to point B, how could you possibly say, well, I feel like I can get there cheaper, right? Now, if you're in a saturated market, like as in today, getting into weight loss and talking about keto, probably not the best strategy because there are a lot of people out here and trainers who are talking about keto. This is why a lot of people in B2C are always trying to find their new way, right? So having that way is very, very important and is the thing that can actually make or break your offer. And even worse, keep you from being able to sell at a premium price. And if you're in B2B, you need to be premium, period. Number 4, proof. These are simply just case studies and conversion stories showcasing or telling a story in your pitch with the exact who from your niche, getting the exact quantifiable result, and following the exact vehicle that you chose. That is what makes the proof box checked off. That is very, very important, okay? It must be the right avatar getting the right result that you promised by following the path that you are promising in your offer. That is the proof you are looking for. So if you're watching this right now or listening to this right now, just simply ask yourself, out of all the things you've helped people do, what do you feel confident in based on the results you've gotten people that you could double down on and leverage those case studies to make that your main core offer? Very simple. And finally, number 5, this is your price stack. And in the price stack, a lot of people make this mistake. You want your pricing to be one price, not 2, not 3, just one. Now, am I saying that you can't have payment plan options where you can break up the price? Yes, of course. But the mistake that a lot of people do in their packaging is whenever they're showcasing their offer, they like to say, well, you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this, and you can go and choose, right? Keep it simple, have one price, get the interest, and then make the payment plan options or whatever else later on. But you don't want to confuse your audience. A lot of people in SaaS, for example, tons of SaaS companies that have these different packagings that they can use, even on their website before they even get to the sales reps, have these different stacks of options that you can do, from enterprise to individual to getting support versus not support. It's like all over the place. And again, it's so much to digest for your audience that they have to actually digest it. So when they say things like, oh, I got to think about it, the answer is like, yeah, you gave them so much to think about. So of course they have to. So just do the right thing and put them on the right core offer and just give them the price. Keep it simple. Now, those are the 5 boxes for the offer stack. And just remember this, if you're selling 3 different things to 3 different audiences, you do not have an offer. You only have friction. Now, this leads us to the third and final point. Messaging always breaks first. Do not confuse your offer with just what it is that you are selling, because it actually drives every message, funnel, follow-up, and all of your scripts. So think about it. If you have a messy offer, then all of your DM conversations, your SMS and text conversations become completely broken and scattered. You end up hiring confused sales reps and confused virtual assistants because of the chaos of the message being scattered. You end up having stressed reps on your team, extremely low reply rates from emails if you're sending out cold emails. And worst of all, you have significantly low close rates. Just from something as simple as not being clear on what your message and what your frame is going to be for your entire process. So how do you fix it? The first thing you want to do is just start from your outbound message and then just work completely backwards. If your offer can't produce a compelling first sentence in something as like a cold DM message, then it is way too abstract and not specific enough. So how can we tell if it's actually specific? Here's what you want to check. Based on the messaging that you just chose, okay, could a setter on your team or even you qualify for the very thing you just said in your message in as little as 5 questions? If it takes more than 5 questions, then it's not specific enough. That means it's very abstract. Can a sales rep on your team pitch this offer in as little as under 7 minutes? And can they do it without you, the founder, even having to be on the call in the first place? If the answer to either of those 2 things is no, then you need to refactor your offer, go back to the drawing board and fix it because it is not ready for scale. And that's okay. It's just the biggest problem that you need to solve in the business to really get you to the point where you're going to be successful. All right, let's zoom out. If you wouldn't put money behind your offer in paid ads, if you wouldn't trust a sales rep to pitch it completely without you, if you wouldn't bet everything on this converting with cold traffic at scale, then you are not ready to hire a team. But you are ready for one thing, and that is to fix your offer. This is the Sell for Scale show, and if you are serious about scaling a B2B sales system that runs without you and converts with clarity, then make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And once your offer is finally dialed in, you're going to need a real sales team to actually go and take it to market. Then make sure you go back to episode 10 of this podcast where I cover how to hire sales reps like a funnel and not a gamble. My name is Dylan Starr, and I will catch you on the next episode.